I used to think I had the kind of love people write movies about. You know, the he brings me coffee in bed kind. Jake and I met in college, chemistry major, dimples when he laughed, the whole package. 2 years in, we moved in together. He'd leave sticky notes on the fridge like, "Good luck on your interview," and text me, "Miss you," if I was gone for more than 3 hours. I bragged about him to my friends. He's not like other guys, I'd say. But then, little things started adding up, like how he'd suddenly start taking his phone to the bathroom, even during movie nights, or how he'd flip his screen face down if I walked by. At first, I joked about it. "Who you texting, your secret girlfriend?" He'd laugh it off. "Babe, it's just Dave from work. You're paranoid." And I believed him, because why wouldn't I? Then came the nights out with the guys. Except, his best friend would text me, "Hey, wanna grab pizza?" while Jake was supposedly with him. When I asked, Jake shrugged. Plans changed, but his shirt smelled like perfume, something sweet, not my vanilla lotion. The tipping point? His iPad. We shared an Apple ID, and one night while watching Netflix, a notification popped up. "Sarah, can't wait for Friday." My stomach dropped. Sarah wasn't a name I knew. I clicked. Just curiosity, I told myself. And there it was. A thread of flirty texts, heart emojis, and then a photo notification synced. I didn't open it. I couldn't. But in that moment, the man I loved became a stranger. I tried to convince myself I was overreacting. Maybe Sarah was just a coworker. Maybe the perfume was from a hug with his mom. Maybe. But my gut, it screamed. So I did something I never thought I'd do. I asked him, straight up, "Who's Sarah?" Jake didn't even flinch. He just rolled his eyes like I'd asked him to explain the weather. "Seriously? She's just some girl from the marketing team. We're working on a project." He reached for my hand, his voice softening. "Babe, you know I'd never cheat on you. You're being paranoid." And like an idiot, I believed him. But then, the pattern started. Late-night texts he'd dismiss as work emergencies. Sudden business trips he forgot to mention. Once, I grabbed his phone by accident, same passcode as mine, and he snatched it back so fast, his elbow knocked over a glass. "Privacy, babe," he said, like I was the crazy one. The worst part? He made me feel guilty. "I can't believe you don't trust me," he'd sigh, shaking his head like was the problem. And I fell for it. I started apologizing. "You're right, I'm just stressed," I'd say, burying the doubt deeper. But then, the iPad incident happened. We were on the couch, watching some dumb reality show when his iPad lit up. A text preview flashed. "Last night was fun. When can I see you again?" My heart stopped. Jake was in the kitchen, humming like nothing was wrong. I could have confronted him, screamed, thrown something, but I didn't. I just sat there, staring at that screen until it went dark. That night, I Googled, "signs your boyfriend is cheating" for the first time. And every single search result felt like a punch to the chest. I wish I could say I didn't look, that I respected his privacy, that I walked away before seeing the truth, but I didn't. That night, after he fell asleep, I did the thing I swore I'd never do. I opened his iPad again, and there they were. Photos, not just innocent selfies, not just work friends, intimate photos. Her in his shirt, him in a hotel room I didn't recognize, dates stamped on them, days he told me he was working late. My hands shook so bad I almost dropped it. The room spun. That ugly, hot feeling crawled up my throat. Betrayal, disgust, but worst of all, humiliation. How long had this been going on? How many lies had I swallowed? I zoomed in on one photo, her lips pressed to his cheek, his arm around her waist. And then I saw it. Our anniversary bracelet. The one I gave him. The one he promised he'd never take off. He was wearing it with her. I wanted to scream, to throw the iPad against the wall, to wake him up and demand answers, but I didn't. I just sat there in the dark, tears running down my face, realizing he never loved me the way I loved him. Voiceover script, high emotion, edge of your seat storytelling. I waited 3 days. 3 days of pretending everything was normal while I planned exactly what to say. 3 days of watching him smile at me, kiss me, lie to my face like it was nothing. Then, on a random Tuesday night, I snapped. I didn't scream, I didn't cry. I just slid his iPad across the kitchen table and said, "Explain this." His face went pale. "Babe, just don't." My voice was scarily calm. "Tell me the truth for once. How long?" He started with the usual excuses. "It didn't mean anything. We were on a break. It was just texting." Until I tapped the screen. "This doesn't look like just texting, Jake." Silence. Then the mask slipped. "Okay, fine. Yeah, I messed up. But you've been so obsessed with work you never even noticed me." I actually laughed. That was his defense? That I drove him to cheat? I stood up, grabbed my keys. "Pack your stuff. You're leaving." He panicked then, begged, said he'd block her, go to therapy, fix this. But I just shook my head. "You don't get to fix disrespect, and you don't get me anymore." It's been 6 months. 6 months of therapy, girls' trips, and rediscovering me. Turns out, when you're not babysitting a liar's ego, you have a lot of free time. "Jake?" He tried to crawl back, of course. Texts at 2 a.m. "I miss you." Flowers at my door. I've changed. Even a coincidental run-in at our old coffee shop. But here's the thing about betrayal. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. So I blocked him. Everywhere. And then, I thrived. Got the promotion I'd been too distracted to chase. Reconnected with friends I'd neglected. Even went on a few dates. Not to replace him, but to remind myself I was still wanted. The kicker? Last week, a mutual friend told me Jake and Sarah crashed and burned. "Turns out cheaters cheat," she said with a shrug. I didn't even smile. Just sipped my latte and said, "Who?" Because that's the best revenge. Not hatred, not drama. Just indifference. Final mic drop. If someone hides their phone, it's not privacy, it's secrecy. And you deserve sunlight. Would you have forgiven him? Comment below.